Hello and welcome to episode 171 of the Perth to Paisley podcast, a podcast dedicated to Heart of Midlothian Football Club who haven't won a competitive match since the 11th of May. Yeah. Joining me, Adam Kennedy, to discuss the latest batch of defeats for the Jambos is Daniel McIver. Mr. McIver, how are you feeling? Are you considerably better than I am?
I am considerably better. Everybody was dealing with the things we're going to speak about over the weekend. Meanwhile, I was having the best weekend that I've ever had in my life. I was down in London with my best mate at All In, Wembley Stadium, seeing Brian Danielson win, having a very emotional time, loving life. Best thing, I'm getting score update to my phone going, oh, we're shite. I don't care. I'm having a class time. So I've had a wonderful weekend. I think I'm the only human being of a Hearts persuasion that has had a lovely weekend. This happened, by the way, last year when I went to All In. We got beat 1-0 off Dundee. So apparently when I fuck off to London, we get beat. And coincidentally, I also didn't care about that result. So I've had a lovely time. More importantly, how are you?
Pish. Hopefully, hopefully it's similar to last season in that we decide to, go on a win and run like shortly after said defeat. So the omens are good in that respect. But you mentioned Wembley there. Obviously, everybody's buzzing about the Oasis reunion. I'm more concerned about Heart and Midlothian's reunion with winning football matches because it's been a long time coming. And
somehow it feels less likely than Oasis coming back together. That's also topped off a great weekend for me. Everything's been great except for Hearts.
Life's great. Life's great until you watch Hearts.
Yes.
We've got two games to speak about. I really don't want to chat about the second one because I was actually somewhat encouraged by the first one.
Yeah, exactly.
Stephen Naismith made 5 changes after the Jambos had previously crashed out of the Scottish League Cup as they lost 2-0 away to Championship side Falkirk, before a late goal saw Victoria Pilson sneak past us 1-0 in the Czech Republic on Thursday night. Kai Rolls and Frankie Kent entered the Jambos back 5 to accompany Stephen Kingsley in the trio of centre-halves behind Craig Gordon in goal. Gerald Taylor continued at right wing-back with James Penrice at left wing-back, not little Luke Penrice. And
we'd win if Luke Penrice was playing.
Cammy Devlin and George Grant accompanied Malachi Boateng in the middle of the park. And Craig Halkett made way from the Jambos defence that was breached twice in Falkirk. Jan Danda, Utaro Oda and Blair Spittle also making way, with Lauren Shanklin taking Liam Boyce's spot for their Europa League playoff first leg, supported by Kenneth Vargas in attack. The formation was perhaps the primary talking point. Was it a 3-5-2? Was it a 5-3-2? Was it a 5-4-1? So you just make your mind up when it comes to this collection of players that I'm about to speak about. Craig Gordon was in goal. It looked like a centre-half trio, like I say, of Stephen Kingsley, Frankie Kent and Kai Rolls. Taylor and Penrice I mentioned. Devlin, Boateng and possibly Grant, although he may have been on one wing with Vargas on the other, Shanklin up front. What were your thoughts?
It felt more to me like it was a 3 of Devlin, Grant and Boateng.
Yeah, a 5-3-2.
Yeah, that's how I more read it. First of all, the big reveal to me was that it was a 6 o'clock kickoff because I finished work at 6 and was waiting on a bus going, I'll check. Oh no, the Team Webby out yet. And then I check and it's like opening chance for the host. And I'm like, what the fuck? Get me on this bus. I need to go and buy the worst stream I've ever fucking seen in my life.
It wasn't great.
No, 12 quid I'll never get back. But
would have been worth it had we held on to a 0-0 draw.
Oh, I mean, 100%.
I can't even imagine those that actually forked out the hard-earned money to go to... Who am I kidding? Hearts fans would have had a brilliant piss up in Prague.
Yeah, we could have got beat 5-0 and they would have...
They wouldn't have cared.
They would have cared.
That's fair enough.
I think this was another example of why I'm not quite as much of a anti-3/5 at the back as you, where clearly in games where we're the underdog and not dominating the ball, it works very well for us.
I'm delighted that you have uttered those exact words because that is literally how I feel after this.
Yeah.
But in saying that, I felt throughout that we may have been perceived as underdogs, but
we more than matched them.
I didn't think Pilsen were that good, to be honest.
I was surprised at how average they looked.
Yeah, Or not even average. It was kind of more till they got to the final third. I mean, really, they lacked something of a killer instinct, and that is certainly rich coming from us, given our start to the season. But I think it's all to play for.
100. If you had said to us,
I really do.
Considering the gulf in quality apparently between the two squads, if you'd said to me, by the way, you're going to get beat 1-0 away there, I'd be like, what a fucking result. That's amazing. All to play for. It's Rosenborg all over again, kind of thing. Obviously, now I'm actually about to check what his name is, but in the time that we've played them, they've sold one of their best players for 8 million quid. Hranic, I think is how you say his name. Hranic.
Robin Hranic?
Yeah, Robin Hranic. He's went to Hoffenheim for £8 million. I thought he had a good game. Generally, I was just like, okay, this clearly works. We're matching them well. I couldn't watch highlights because there is no highlights back. I watched the game. I missed the first 20 minutes. So I've heard about like the blocks Rolls makes and the save Gordon makes and stuff like that, but I've not actually seen them. But generally, it was a very confidence-inspiring performance, which is, I know, weird to say considering the way the game ended. But generally, I was like, when I saw that team, I was kind of like, okay, I think I know what he's doing here. Will it work? Who knows? But because I was going at the game with zero expectations, I was kind of just like, we might as well play that team. But then, we just played pretty well.
It very much reeks of Parkhead last season, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
The exact same setup. We're going in with no expectation, really, and you're pleasantly surprised by just how good we are with a three at the back on the day. I honestly, I was fearing the worst.
Yeah.
And my stance on the three at the back. You've pretty much hit the nail on the head. For games that we should win, I don't ever want to see Hearts use three centre halves because there is no need. But in saying that, one of the defensive trio came up with probably one of our best chances inside the first minute. Stephen Kingsley heading just over the bar. You of course missed that, but that's fine. Craig Gordon produced a fantastic save early on to deny Havel. Craig Gordon as well. We obviously learnt that Xander Clark was suffering with a back injury, wasn't back at the weekend, but that record, 23 appearances for Hearts in European competitions, an incredible feat, isn't it?
Listen. If you've listened to this podcast, I think you'll have a feeling that I'm quite a big Craig Gordon fan, right? So I'm biased anyway. He's my favourite football player of all time. Like, there's no one better than that.
I'm sorry,
to me.
But can he be a goalie?
Yes, it can.
No,
it absolutely can, because it's him. He's not just a goalie, though. It's like, think of the story we've had with him and stuff like that.
He's our keeper.
Yeah, and he's gone on to be one of the best keepers of our nation and everything like that. Like, he's the best player we've produced in our lifetime and stuff like that. Like, all that kind of part. But even so, to make that amount of appearances for us, because to be honest, in our life, we've probably only played about 27 games in Europe. Like, he's probably played in most of them. And I'm so happy about that fact. I want him to keep that record for a long time. And in a week that hasn't had many positives, I feel like him coming back into the starting lineup has been a positive, where it's just like, oh yeah, he's just clearly our number one and should be our number one now.
I'm not sure I necessarily agree with that, given the second goal at Falkirk. But anyway,
who gives a fuck about that? We were out the game anyway. Xander Clark did the same at Dundee before, and I love Xander Clark, but still.
I know. Well, listen, a player that I'm not a big fan of, George Grant. Craig Gordon had him to thank for keeping the scoreline at bay. Up next with more heroics, a cutback from the right found Sulch, who had Gordon beaten before. Grant stepped in with a tremendous clearance off the line, pretty much, to keep Pilson at bay. George Grant is such a frustrating one.
Yeah.
He really irks me. because there are times like this performance in the Czech Republic where I think he has got something to contribute. That's all I want to see, both in this case, defensively and offensively. But then there's other games where you're just looking for an ounce of creativity from somewhere. And it's not coming from Cammy Devlin. It's not coming from Benny Beningame. It's not coming from Callum Neuenhoff. But if George Grant's on the park, he'd be one that you would look to pin that up on. And
And then you just
sometimes
look at him walking about the place. It's like, oh, shit.
Just sauntering about, like, he infuriates me sometimes.
I think we've learned that over the last 2 years.
No, but I mean, like, is anybody else, like, am I the only one?
No, I think you're the only one that has this level of aggression towards him. But I think most people...
I'll never forgive him for Zurich if he tries any of those antics on Thursday night.
I think that is the perfect thing that I was going to say. I think most people define him by the Zurich game, where he's never done anything to offset it. Like, he's never had a performance in the game that means as much, where you go, okay, he was the reason we lost against Zurich, but he was the reason we won against Rosenborg. It was like, no, that was Cammy and stuff. Like, he's a very average player who will have good games, who will have bad games, but annoyingly will most commonly have average games.
You mentioned Cammy Devlin there, one of the few chances that Hearts did create in this match. A delightful chested ball from Cammy Devlin down into the path of Lawrence Shankland, right on the cusp of half-time, but he sends a thunderous volley narrowly wide of the goal. Lawrence Shankland is a talking point.
That's one way of putting it.
I'm just really hopeful that he grabs a goal at Tynecastle this week and we start to see him kick on.
As everybody said, it's like it was this exact point last season. You and me were on the podcast going, is he a one-season wonder? Did we just have one amazing season out of him and then is he going to do anything? And then he went on to just go, oh yeah, I'm Lawrence Shankland, by the way, and have an even better season. And we were at the end of the season going, imagine if he'd started well, he would have been on like 40. So that's the hope, that we're in the same situation. Yeah, exactly. The hope is that we're in the same situation where he goes, all right, okay, I've not had a good start, but I get one. And that then opens the floodgates kind of thing. Because right now, it's like he could have no complaints if he was dropped.
Do you know what's bizarre, though? It's like I'm more confident in him scoring against Dundee United at the weekend, but I'm probably more confident of Hearts getting a result against Pilsen on Thursday than I am of us getting a result at the weekend.
I know what you mean. I do know what you mean, because Pilsen will have the advantage of it's a European tie at Tynecastle at night. The place will be bouncing. It's like, it doesn't matter what's happened in the last few weeks. We can win this game. Everybody get behind the team. And there is that element of like, no one, we're still, despite the performance against them in the Czech Republic, there is still no real expectation on us. We're still the underdogs technically. I mean, we're literally going in on the back of a loss. So like,
we're just asked to stay in the tie.
Yeah.
We've done that.
So there's that energy that will be about it. And at the end of the day, if we're very honest with ourselves, we'll all come to, if we end up losing this tie, I think most people go, well, we expected to lose the tie going in. Whereas Dundee United, it's like, no, that is like a must-win of must-wins now to start the season. Shankland could get a goal, but in the most Hearts way that's currently on form is that Shankland could get a goal, but then we concede another, and then the crowd turns then, because it's like, it's a 3 o'clock kickoff. It's not got any of the hype of a European night. If we're coming off the back of it, if we get battered on Thursday night, the energy...
Sunday will be flat. So flat.
Exactly. Whereas, if we get through, the place will be fucking bouncing, and you're like, right, come on, Jim Goodwin, bring it.
You are Jim Goodwin obsessed, aren't you?
I just love him. I just love him so much.
I honestly get the impression you won't even be looking at the game. You'll just be peering down at him, because he'll be literally in your line of vision, is he not? Literally
my line, the away dugout, I'm right behind it, so I'll be having a great Sunday, regardless of the result.
Yeah, Thursday. I don't. I honestly, this week, I'm so stressed because his form and our form both, like, we can't win without him
They're
scoring.
extrinsically linked.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
And as soon as he starts firing, I know we'll start firing.
Yeah,
I just
exactly.
want it to happen
Yeah.
because it's not happened.
Yeah.
However, back to the Czech Republic and Pilsen.
We jumped forward like a week.
Yeah, sorry. There were chances at either end. Kalvac goes close for them. Vargas goes close for us. Craig Gordon's again called into action, producing a smart stop with his feet to deny Pilsen on 53 minutes. And it looked as though Hearts were about to take a very credible draw into the second leg, yet to find a breakthrough between the two teams. But an unfortunate own goal for Daniel Oyugoki, your mate, saw the ball accidentally diverted into the back of the net. I mean, literally the last kick of the ball.
Yeah.
Such a frustrating end to the evening. But there was a part of me, McIver, that thought, am I realistically, it sounds silly to say, am I realistically that bothered? Because one, as you rightly said, we were massive underdogs coming into it. And two, if you'd have signed me up for a 1-0 defeat over there with the chance to take them back to Tynecastle still firmly in the tie, I'd have taken it. Yes, it's shit. We've lost a goal in the last minute, and it's a preventable one. It's one that he won't look back on with delight. None of us will. But in saying that, particularly with the two recent away performances back to back, again wearing that away kit which should just be burned, I was honestly fearing that it could have been an absolute pumping in Pilsen.
Yeah, listen, on the goal itself, it's one of those things where it's just bad luck. Sometimes that happens in football. It's just bad luck. It literally hits off him in a way that hits the post and in. It's an inch from going wide, but it just so happens.
You kind of think that it bounces back out.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Only then when you see it ripple the net, you're like, you bastard.
Exactly.
And to be fair, it's a wicked delivery from the right-hand side.
It's a fantastic cross.
Literally pinpoint, because it's in one of those awkward areas where he's not even sure what to do.
Yeah.
Do I leave it and hope that my marker doesn't get a touch? Do I try and hook it up and out, but with a risk of hitting off my marker? And in the end, I think he's just caught in like 2 or 3 lines.
100%. And like, it's just a bit of bad luck. On that, before I speak about kind of what it means for the tie, I saw a few people saying this and I agree with it. It's like, it doesn't need to be that we were just suddenly shit as a result. It's not the end of the, like, sometimes you just hold your hands up and go, oh, we got a bit unlucky there at the end. It's not like, right, Daniel Oyugoki is now fucking awful and that's it, rubber stamped kind of thing.
I was going to ask you about that because there seems to be some fans that have written him off, particularly after defeated Dundee.
Yeah.
And now this game, that immediately just think, oh, we'll just send him back down the road already.
It's like, I'm not writing fucking anybody off until we've had like a big thing that I don't think should be used as an excuse. And thankfully, I've not seen anybody from the club use it as an excuse. But something that I feel like has maybe been a bit overlooked is that this Sunday is the first time in a month we've played at home. Every other club in this league has played a couple either there, maybe like 1 and 3 or whatever. But because we've got Europe and the Cup, we've been away constantly. So have no kind of that safety blanket of like, right, okay, we're in a bad run, but we're at home. Right, let's see. As I say, I do not think it should be used as an excuse because Falkirk, you should be able to play a year without playing at Tynecastle and still beat Falkirk as a Hearts team kind of thing. But I do think it's important. So that's why it's like these new signings are bedding in, but they're not bedding in the bed that they're going to be in.
They've not had a jam-packed Tynecastle roaring them on or...
Yeah. They had one and they all played well.
Or giving them, horrendous abuse.
Yeah, exactly.
Or drawing 0-0 at half-time against somebody that we should be beating.
But it's like we had one and they all played quite well. Everybody was like, oh, the new signings look really good against Rangers. And it's like...
I know.
I don't think it's a coincidence that was the one home game.
It's mad to think that the Rangers game was our last match at home. That feels like a lifetime ago.
Because it was only one game, it feels like it's been months that I've been at Tynecastle. Yeah. Like, it's crazy. But, so yeah, I do not think that you need to be making any like rash decisions and judgments about people. But as you say, I very much agree in terms of like it doesn't, which again is weird to say, it doesn't really change the tie because I think
No, I
every
don't
single
think so
Hearts
either.
fan went, well, we're going to have to beat them at Tynecastle.
Yeah,
And that
I agree
hasn't
with that.
changed.
And my concern arose from past performances,
Mm.
rank rotten results. For the most part, that was a decent, dogged
Yeah.
defensive display that very nearly saw us come away with a positive result.
Yep.
We're literally, what, 30, 40 seconds away from coming away
Where the fuck
with,
did they get
with a
6 minutes
draw.
from? Let's ask
Oh,
that question.
oh, God knows. Because, I mean, they made, what, 4 changes and we made, did we make 4 as well? I
Yeah,
think
but
we
I
did.
think we made 2 and 2.
Yeah,
Or like they made a couple at a time and stuff like that.
just having a look here. So Spittle and Oyegoki came on at 75 minutes for
Right.
Grant and Taylor, respectively. Boyce replaced Shankland on 80 minutes, and Yutaro Oda came on for Kenneth Vargas, who'd run himself into the ground on
Yeah.
89. Their 2 changes, 2 on 60 minutes. Chadu and Bello for Havel and Yurka. And then Mosquera and Mati Vidra, who I recognise the
I
name,
know. I couldn't
replaced
believe that.
Kopic and Vasulin. I remember him at Watford. He
Yeah,
was a bit of a bagsman, wasn't he?
exactly. And just remember
Mati
him in
Vidra.
FIFAs and all that, and
Yeah,
just like, oh, he's there. But yeah, that's what I mean. That's
good
not
player.
6 minutes. And there wasn't any big injuries or anything like that that I
No, I
remember.
don't, yeah.
Kingsley had his arm, but it wasn't like 5 minutes he was down in that. Anyway, that's not the point. But generally, I was more confident, and so I left for London. My train was at 5 to 9 in the morning on the Saturday. I was
Right.
thinking, right, hopefully I'm sat in Wembley. Show doesn't start. I get into the show at like 4:15. That's near the end of the game. Hopefully I'll be like, play like that, and I'll get some nice wee score updates. That did not happen.
No, it did not. As the defensive and decent dogged display in the Czech Republic was followed up with a lackluster loss in Lanarkshire. However, before we get chatting about the Motherwell match, thanks very much. That was off the cuff, by the way. I was literally, the cogs were turning. I think folk could see that as I was speaking there. I have no idea where the hell that came from. But we are going to go around the grounds before we chat about the Motherwell defeat for Park. 3 games took place on Saturday, and then 2 before our match. Well, 1 at the same time, but you know what I mean. The first of which on the Saturday was a Tayside derby as Dundee United claimed their first Scottish Premiership win of the season against St Johnstone just before they play us. Fantastic.
I didn't actually know that. That's amazing.
It's typical timing. Hibs and Dundee played out a 4-goal thriller in
I
a
knew
2-2
that.
draw at Easter Road. And Rangers battered Ross County 6-0 at Hampden Park. Shocking result for the Staggies, following up that Spartans defeat. Not looking good for Don Cowy's men. And on the Sunday, Celtic swept St Mirren aside 3-0 in Paisley in the early kickoff. Nobody cares about that. And Aberdeen continued their fantastic start to the season. 2 wins from 2 became 3 wins from 3 for the Dons as they beat Killie, who collapsed in Copenhagen in midweek, 2-0 at Pittodrie on Sunday. What were your thoughts with regards to the other 5 games before we chat about our defeat?
So Celtic and Rangers comfortably win. Cool. Who cares?
Yeah, no surprises there.
I didn't actually know that Dundee had won. That was the one result I actually had missed.
Dundee United.
Dundee United. I'd seen everybody else, all the other results, but I'd missed United's result completely. So fucking, of course. The main kind of 2 talking points for me were Aberdeen and Killie. From an Aberdeen perspective, it's a very good start, but I didn't actually realise they hadn't. That was the first time so far this season they've played someone who finished in the top 6 last season.
Because they had St Johnstone and...
I can't remember who they played. I will check right now as I'm saying this because I was like, oh wow, they're playing really well. Absolutely fair play to them. And obviously it doesn't matter. Like their start is still amazing. No, they played St Mirren. They played St Mirren.
Yeah.
So they've been on an amazing start. I saw a thing where it was like, oh, it was because us, Hibs, and Killie, who are down the bottom, it's like Killie have been playing in Europe, so are fucked. Hibs have had Celtic back to back. We had Rangers and playing in Europe. So I've seen a lot of Hearts, Hibs, and Killie fans kind of just like pretend everything's fine because it's like, well, Aberdeen have had it easy up until this point. It doesn't matter. Listen, just a very good start of the season. Jimmy Thielen currently doing as well as we thought in our predictions. Look at us, we know stuff. And Killie,
Yeah.
definitely. Killie just apparently have the worst disciplinary record you've ever seen from any fucking football team.
See, if Kelly kept 11 men on the park, they'd actually be some side.
They'd be splitting the old firm.
They just don't help themselves.
It's just crazy. So
that's a wafer thin squad that's getting run at the ground.
I know.
Like the Copenhagen defeat pretty much just sums it up. Like 2 goals late on, really, where it's like if you'd have came back with a 1-0 defeat,
again, you're thinking
goal at Rugby Park, exactly, it's on, but no. Can't see them overturning that.
The only way to end this topic is, thank fuck there's always Hibs. Because look at the apparent crisis we're in, and then you look at the league table and you can't find our name for fucking ages, and then you go, still above Hibs.
No. All my Hibs mates are adamant. They have to throw the stones in the glass houses. No. We are dog shit. We're the Globetrotters. We are splitting the old firm and all this carry on. Pathetic club. Honestly, I fucking hate them.
Like, just, I saw they went 2-1 up, then conceded quite late on. Was it a Scott Tiffany goal to equalise?
No, Scott Tiffany put them ahead. It was
Simon Murray right.
Coming back.
Oh, great. That's even better. And just...
easiest money ever was him to get booked and score. I had him to get booked, but I didn't foresee him scoring.
You didn't see him scoring. Just, I don't know what Hibs are going to do. I can't fucking wait for this high quality Edinburgh derby that's coming soon, by the way. The best game of football you've ever seen for a fixture that is famously always great at football.
That's like it always is. 22 buses crashing into one another.
Yeah. And I genuinely cannot fucking wait. It's going to be the worst derby ever. Or it'll be 3 each. Like, it'll just be insane.
It's going to be chaos because neither team can defend, apparently.
Yeah. Exactly.
And that was evident on Sunday as we went to Fir Park and took on Motherwell.
And we fucking played a different system again!
Can I just say, 6 outcomes correct for this guy.
Look at this. See, there are positives to take. Well done.
I bet against my own... Well, I didn't bet against my own team, but
no.
I said we'd
You
lose.
rightly used your football knowledge like we did with Jimmy Thielen and said that we'd get beat.
Because our teams cannot compete in European competition and then go back to domestic football.
Exactly.
Unless you're one of the old firm.
Yeah.
We're not. So I'm not really too surprised by the Motherwell defeat. I'm more angry at the goals that we concede during said defeat.
Why can't we defend crosses anymore? I'd like to ask that question.
This got Robbie Nielsen the sack. It's literally like we've just reverted back to the season before last. And again, Frankie Kent's on the park. It's not even like we could say that we were without him, which would make sense.
His toe's fine now. He's back playing.
Exactly. Stephen A. Smith made 4 changes from the side that was narrowly edged out.
There's never in the history of this podcast been a more angry introduction to a squad.
He made 4 changes from the side that was edged out in Pilsen on Thursday night, with new signing Andres Salazar making his Hearts debut. Alan Forrest, Blair Spittle against his former club, and Jan Danda also came into the team, with Kenneth Vargas, George Grant and Cammy Devlin moving onto the bench. James Penrice missing out altogether. That meant that Hearts lined up in what we believe to be a 3-4-2-1.
Yeah.
Craig Gordon in goal, Frankie Kent, Stephen Kingsley and Kai Rolls as that back 3. Gerald Taylor at right wing back, Andrew Salazar at left wing back. Feels weird saying that. Malachi Boateng and Blair Spittle, annoyingly, in the middle of the park, because that's not his position. And Jan Danda and Alan Forrest supporting Lawrence Shankland in attack. Bar Blair Spittle, who I feel sorry for, everybody else appeared to be in their correct position.
No.
Somewhat.
No.
Jan Danda, no.
No, Danda's fine. It's the other guy. Alan Forrest is not a 10. Right? This is what I mean. So I saw that lineup and went, oh, we're playing Danda on the left and Forrest on the right and Shanklin through the middle. Okay, I don't really like Dan out wide, but he's done that before. But
Neither do
fine.
I, for what it's worth.
Yeah, but fine. And then I click onto Sports Scene. I hear friend of the podcast, Andrew Petrie, doing the commentary. And I see the fucking lineup. And I'm like, why have we got Dan down Forrest in behind Shankland? I like Alan Forrest.
So do
His
I.
skill set does not suit a number 10 in
No.
any way.
He is as chalk on the boots as they come. And I
Yeah.
actually think he has something to offer us that not a lot of other players do.
Yeah. He's quite
in that
good at
exact
that.
respect. Yeah.
Yeah. And just like,
But otherwise,
listen, yes, we are about to get into specifics where it's like certain individual players make mistakes that Naismith on the touch of them will be like, what am I meant to do
what
about
chance have
that
you
kind
got?
of thing? But
What chance have you
I
actually
would
got?
argue it comes all the way back to tactics where it screams of a squad who are unsure about the positions they're playing in and
Oh,
are unsure on what is expected of them.
that has become abundantly clear. It
Another
was
new formation. We spent all of last week saying, stop fucking about with new formations and let's just actually stick with a system that works.
I'm so intrigued to see what we do in midweek and at the weekend
Yeah.
for this exact reason. It has to be gung ho, 4 at the back, and just fucking go for it for me. But will that be the case? We'll find out. On the bench for Hearts at the weekend, Xander Clark. Good to see him back on there. Craig Halkett, Daniel Ugoke, George Grant, Barry Mackay, Yutaro Oda, Cammy Devlin, Liam Boyce, and Kenneth Vargas. A strong bench.
Why is Cammy Devlin not fucking starting with Boateng instead of an out of position Blair Spittle?
I don't know.
It's deja vu from a year ago. It's deja vu from a year ago. Me sat here going, why is Cammy Devlin not one of our starters?
On the bench.
Yeah, I do not agree. If Naismith, if I was to say that, Naismith listens and then fucking ats us on Twitter and goes, it's because we're resting them for Europe. Sorry, but for me, that doesn't wash. We've played 5 games. You should be able to play back to back to back to back to back until about fucking September, and then I can understand squad rotation.
Sorry, I'm just envisioning the gaffer just making a Twitter account just to bombard us. That'd be incredible. Imagine next episode we come on and we literally just spend 40 minutes reading out this email or a barrage of tweets.
Exactly.
That he's just been stocking up. Oh, that'd be incredible.
Or just, if you're not going to play Devlin, play Macaulay Tate.
Yeah, I don't get this as well. Like, okay, he needs experience, he needs to run a games, but if we don't have another sitter, then why not just chuck him in there? It's almost like he's feared of the sack and just has to use experienced players or justify why he's brought players in, even though they're not playing in their positions that they were effective in. We go to Blair Spittle's former club, Motherwell, where he was outstanding as a playmaker, a number 10, in behind the striker, whatever you want to call it. You know, over 20 goals and assists combined last season. And yet, we're sticking him in the middle of the park where he's expected to just pick up. Like,
we rock up playing 2 10s. The one time him and Danda could fucking coexist.
But we've got a winger in there instead who shouldn't provide the width because supposedly there's wing backs. Again, like, this is where the shape confused me, because was Alan Forrest playing up front with Lauren Shanklin? Because I know that Alan Forrest has scored at Fir Park previously, the season before last, but I'm pretty sure he was out in the wing that day and wasn't used as... It's like we're going little and large with Shanklin and Forrest.
Yeah.
And I don't think either are particularly large.
If you're going to do little and large, you do Shanklin and Vargas, but they're very similar heights.
Yes.
It's just actually fast and slow. That's what it is.
Belly or lack of.
Yes, exactly.
To me, I would like to see another big centre forward come in, because Tago is obviously away. We've got some dosh. Let's go out and get... I'm not for 1 second suggesting that it is this player, but a Stephen Humphreys or an Ellis Sims, just something a bit different
need a
in the
Sims.
final third.
We need a big guy who can run. That is absolutely it is.
They don't come cheap, sadly.
No,
but
they don't.
If we're to compete on both a domestic and continental front, then I'd like to see it personally. But who that player is, I don't know. It's not my job, but I'm just saying, I think we could do with something extra in the final third.
There is one positive to come from this mental formation change, and that it's given us a wonderful title of belly or lack thereof. So that's like, there's that at the very least. We've got that.
Oh Jesus, I'm in deep doo doo. I'm in deep doo doo. Well, start off the game, it looked as though Motherwell were going to be in deep doo-doo. No, not really. Andres Salazar blazed high over the bar after receiving from Frankie Kent before eventually being adjudged offside inside a minute. That was exciting. He was absolutely miles off. Lovely run, but Frankie Kent just took an absolute age to spot him. So that was great. And from there on in, Motherwell grew in confidence. 10 minutes, the hosts come forward with their first opportunity. A terrible pass from Paul McGinn cut out by Malachi Boateng. Kai Rolls just sends it up to Lawrence Shankland somewhat aimlessly, who's under pressure and loses out. The ball is eventually worked out to the left flank by none other than your friend Andy Halliday. Two teenagers combined as Ewan Wilson crosses for Lennon Miller, but the 18-year-old nods over in search of a birthday goal. And just a minute later, Blair Spittle thinks that he's still playing in claret and amber, passes straight to Liam Gordon. His cross is flicked wide by Frankie Kent, but to the feet of, let me try this.
Oh, God.
Tawanda Maswanize.
Maswanize, I think, is how you say it.
Maswanize. The Zimbabwean international on loan from Leicester, who cuts in, but thankfully Stephen Kingsley slides in and diverts his effort over the Hearts crossbar. Motherwell really were cranking up the heat from Lennon Miller's resulting corner. Dan Casey heads wide from a few yards out. An incredible miss, McIver, from the Motherwell centre-back. But this chance was certainly a sign of things to come. What the hell has happened to us when defending set pieces? I cannot for the life of me understand what's going on. Is it too much tinkering? Even here, we named the same three centre-halves that played in the Czech Republic. We go from midweek, them looking solid, to looking like they've never met at the weekend. How can that happen?
This wasn't the Stuart Kettlewell christened world-class save, was it?
No, I believe that was from Craig Gordon.
There's just there's too many to remember.
This was just a miss. I mean,
I now remember what it is. Yeah, he doesn't even hit the top. Oh yeah, because I watched that and went, why is he near Frankie Kent and he's got a completely free header? Like, Kent doesn't even jump. It's like, what are you doing? And it speaks to that of just no one knows what they're doing. We're fucking now seemingly doing a mix of zonal and man marking, which I fucking hate.
Yeah, we've said this for time.
Yeah,
just
I hate it.
Man to man accountability. Take it from there.
And just Stephen Kingsley, as you said, made that block, right? That was the last good thing he did. Because I don't know what's happening with our centre halves. I don't trust any one of them now. Because Kent still, again, has been the most solid. But even so, Kent is still part of a defence that's conceding all these goals. And we're losing battles in the air. And just, I have no idea what our best centre half pairing / coupling is.
Neither does the gaffer, for what it's worth.
Yeah.
Stephen Kingsley, I'm so torn on because 1 minute he's sensational and the next looks missing.
But in fairness to him, why is he playing right centre half?
Well, exactly. This is, and that's what I was going to say. Kai Rolls, I'm seriously adopting a love-hate relationship. This cannot continue. Like, put Stephen Kingsley out on the left. But Rolls just seems undroppable. And to me, I would like to see Kingsley, Kent, and somebody on the right-hand side.
Well,
maybe I know you go, Kate, or whoever.
Yeah, I thought that's what it would be. I thought if you look at it, you would either pick Rolls, if you're playing that back three and you're not including Halkett in it like he clearly isn't, you go right.
Thankfully as well.
Yeah, Kent is obviously right. So Kent's at the fulcrum of it. So on the left, it's fine, whatever. I think Rose and Kingsley have had pretty much identical starts to the season where they've both had good moments and both had terrible moments. So it's kind of like, right, whichever one Nazy wants, pick Rose or Kingsley. And play Oyegoke is either a right back or a right centre half. So play him. It's this spittle thing. It's always better to have someone who maybe is a weaker player, but in their natural position, than someone who's maybe a better player, but in a position that they're so uncomfortable in.
I agree, mate. I agree. However, there did appear to be some method to the madness. A few minutes later, Hearts would look to come forward and potentially open the scoring. Gerald Taylor clears for Alan Forrest to centre as Jan Danda comes forward. He sprays it out to Lauren Shankland on the right. It's a terrible pass into the area from our number 9. Motherwell look to clear, but Gerald Taylor heads forward to Shankland again, down that right-hand side once again. He clips it into the area. It breaks for Andres Salazar, looking to cap off his Hearts debut, open his account, and looks to smash it across goal, but eventually Motherwell turn it behind. However, how Motherwell don't take the lead on 21 minutes, I do not know. Poor cross from Stephen O'Donnell on the right-hand side is rescued by the aforementioned Maswanize.
I now can't remember.
On the left-hand side, he and Ewan Wilson link up before the former crosses to the back post. Stephen O'Donnell knocks it back into the centre, and Andy Halliday is denied by his former Hearts teammate Craig Gordon from a few yards out. It's a bizarre save because it genuinely looks like Craig Gordon heads it over his own crossbar.
He flicks his head up.
Yeah. Halliday's got to score though, doesn't he?
Yeah, of course he does. But it's such a that was the main thing I saw. I was walking down Wembley Way and clicked onto social media, and the first thing I saw was Stuart Kettlewell saying just this world class save from Gordon. I was like, fucking hell, what's he done? And I expected to watch it back, and he's at like full stretch, tipping it over a corner. I didn't expect
like the Livingston or Ross County save.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
I didn't expect from his start. You know when you've won everything in FM and you just look at the weird unlockables where it's like guide this club from relegation with no pounds. So he's just like, yeah, he's just like, I'm bored now. I'm just going to start doing weird shit. Oh, can I save an obvious goal with just my face? Let's see. And he can't. That's how good he is. That is how good he is. Of course, Andy Halliday fucks it up. I'm stunned. But
you're terrible.
Craig Gordon,
you're relentless.
Love you.
Absolutely relentless.
Love you.
In your Halliday hatred. And I don't know, Gordon glazing, or I don't know.
Something. Gordon glazing is an excellent way of putting it.
However, on 23 minutes, Motherwell do take the lead. Elena Miller free kick. It's clipped into the area. A wonderful delivery, which his set pieces throughout were fantastic. And Paul McGinn, it had to be him. There's back across goal and into the bottom corner. I listened to Open Goal, actually, where Andy Halliday had said that Motherwell were looking to make the most of an aerial advantage involving James Penrice. Your mate Luke, of course, missed this match. But regardless, it's something that Motherwell had worked on because they know our frailties, just how annoying a goal is that for us to concede Daniel McIver.
It's just a cross. It's just a cross. Kingsley's terrible. Taylor, no, this isn't the one where Kingsley's really bad. Or is it? Taylor is terrible. Taylor's playing everybody on side and just kind of stops. And it allows McGinn to just come in at the back post, head it across. It is just 2 seasons ago where it's like, every cross into the box. I'm like, we're going to concede here.
Why? Like, set pieces proved their Achilles heel. We rectified that with the signing of Frankie Kent. But, I mean, if we just look at 6s and 7s defensively, like, nobody has a clue where they should be, who they're picking up.
Yeah.
Do I go towards the ball or not? Like, it just looks an absolute mess and disastrous at the back.
And it's so annoying because it's not like we're being carved open. Like the ball in.
It's a dead ball, which I'm not going to fault Lennon Miller. He was fantastic.
Yeah.
Probably the man of the match in terms of his contributions to this game. His set-piece delivery is incredible. But we just make it so easy for Motherwell.
Yeah,
that's the frustrating element for me. On 30 minutes, Maswanize, Jesus, I'll get there eventually. It leaves Gerald Taylor for dead. Motherwell patiently are probing for an opening, cuts inside before he unleashes a strike towards the Hearts goal. Sort of looks to bend it into the far corner, but it's a decent stop from Craig Gordon to deny him. And again, Motherwell just relentless. But 10 minutes before the interval, it looked as though we were going to try and carve out a response. Jan Danda slips Gerald Taylor free down the right-hand side. The Costa Rican sends in a wicked delivery, but nobody's there to stab home. Salazar rescues it on the far side, crosses for Shankland in the centre. Motherwell head clear, but only as far as Blair Spittle, who, in his defence, comes from deep, takes a superb first touch, past a few former teammates, blasts towards goal. It looks a certainty. His first goal for Hearts against his former club at the ground where he was revered last season. But Ewan Wilson, I think it is, clears it off the line. And at half-time, we enter the break, a goal down to Motherwell.
I'm absolutely stunned to see Blair Spittle in his natural area looking quite good. Who would have thought that?
Down that end as well, that goal.
Yeah.
That's where he seemed to score most of his goals. I didn't watch
Just
Motherwell that much.
allow Blair Spittle to be a forward-thinking player and not a recycling six. And I think we'll see the better of him.
Yeah. Another player that nearly came back to haunt their former employers was Tony Watt, introduced as a second half substitute. Lennon Miller's free kick again, headed clear by Kai Rolls, and it drops to Tony Watt, who smashes towards goal, looks to kind of catch Craig Gordon out of his near post. But thankfully the keeper saves and Frankie Kent clears. And just as Hearts conceded a goal from a Lennon Miller free kick in the first half, we thought, why not repeat the feat in the second? 58 minutes, another lovely ball in from the birthday boy, and Stephen O'Donnell shrugs off the attention from Kai Rolls, doubles the Steelmen's advantage, 2-0, and I thought on the hour, game over, job done.
Yeah, definitely. Again, this is where Kingsley and Rolls together just look like they have no idea where each other are meant to be. It's a complete free header. I will listen, love him, but I will say Gordon gets a touch to it, but it's not enough, and it's kind of like
Jesus.
What's
he expected to do in that area as well? Like,
exactly.
Christ.
It needs to be defended far better. It sails over Kent's head. There's nothing Kent can do about it. He's not in the area. And it's just like Kingsley and Rolls just fucking. It just does. It's why I am sympathetic to this thing of like it's players making individual mistakes or stuff like that. But it just, to me at least, and I might be wrong, but it just screams
it's like
they don't know what they're doing.
Ownership. Yeah. It's like the players are at fault, but again, what are their instructions from set pieces? Like this can't be. The two can exist together.
Yeah.
It can't just be coincidence that players are making errors. But again, you can't fault Naismith for that, even though, as you say, like it's a disorganisation. And that is something I will say. Last season, in the Scottish Premiership, only Rangers kept more clean sheets than us.
Yeah.
You would not think that when you watch Hearts recently.
No.
If you'd have said that during the Dundee game, the Falkirk game, the Pilsen game, you could.
Yeah.
But again, this Motherwell match, there's no way that you could have said that looked like the team that kept the second most clean sheets in the league last year.
I'm fucking telling you, it's all because Alex Cochrane has left. That's what it is. He's that influential. He's the greatest player we've ever had in this position. Forget your Takis Fisas's. It doesn't matter. Forget your Lee Wallace's and all that kind of pattern. It's fine. No.
You mentioned left back there. We'll get.
He's still not been booked, by the way. Adam has a bet builder and is furious about Cochrane not getting booked, and he's still not been booked. And there's only 20 minutes left.
He usually doesn't let me down either when it comes to booking. It's he or Cammy Devlin, isn't it? They were the two staples that you were just like, yeah, I'll stick something on the pair of them.
Our first booking in Europe is Cammy Devlin. I'm absolutely stunned.
You mentioned Cochrane at left back there.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the third goal happens, we'll come on to it. But for the most part, I actually thought it was a solid debut from Andre Salazar. I'm surprised he made that bow, but obviously James Penrice being out, Salazar can't play in Europe, so it makes sense to have Penrice feature against Pilsen. I thought he was pretty good for the most part, to be honest. I don't think it's an easy place to make your debut against a side that were looking to make their aerial advantage count. He even got forward a couple of times, had an opportunity in the first half, laid another couple opportunities on a plate for other players. I thought he was good for the most part.
He gets the secondary assist as well, if we're doing
Oh, there you
that.
go. Yeah,
New
the
start
hockey
thing.
assist, isn't it?
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. Obviously, I've just seen highlights, so I'm very limited to that. But that's actually very good to hear because I saw a lot of people say he was shite, but it's from the same people who said Boateng was shite on Thursday night, and when he was like
Baffling.
like arguably our best player.
Well, it was by a country mile our
Yeah,
best
he's been
player.
our player of the season so far. It's not even fucking
Yeah.
close.
Yeah, I'd probably agree. I probably would
Yeah.
agree with that. Mad that we literally signed him before our first league game
Yeah.
on the morning of
On
our
the
first league
day.
game.
Yeah.
And he's been our best player so far this season. That speaks a lot about the rest of them.
Yeah. I'm glad to hear Salazar was good.
In my opinion, listen, like
Yeah, it's always worrying if I listen to your opinion, GMS. But
hey, that's what I was going to say because Hearts would half the deficit, and it's courtesy of my
it's your
most
boy.
improved player of the season shout. Taro Hoda off the bench. Oh, he's another that just really infuriates me. But to be fair, it's all right.
This is the hardest chance he's had all season.
Exactly, but yeah. I mean,
every other chance is not to think about it and just fucking.
But I'm not being funny. Like he has to put this away, and
he does.
That's the hardest. So that speaks volumes about his other chances. But anyway, Blair Spittle slips it to Kenneth Vargas, another second half substitute on the left hand side. Lauren Shankland and Andre Salazar link up, where our number 9 dances his way into the area, slides it to Yutaro Oda, and the Japanese winger slots home to make it Motherwell 2, Hearts 1 on 65 minutes. I'd gone from game over to within game on in 5 minutes. That is how fickle I am. That is how annoyed I was in the first hour. But he did give us a lifeline.
And as I say, he takes a nice touch to kind of open space for himself and then put it bottom corner. Just well done, Oda. I'd be starting him on Thursday.
Would you?
I'd be starting them on Thursday and just fucking go. Let's just run at them.
You're going to say he and Forrest on the flanks, isn't it?
Well, I don't really mind. I was going to say Vargas, but it can be Forrest or Vargas or Oda. I just want us to play with 2 fast fucks, basically. That's my strategy.
Yeah, that's not going to happen, mate.
No, it's not.
Motherwell would round off proceedings on 80 minutes.
This is a good finish. It comes through a mistake, but this is a good finish.
No, but like...
He shouldn't be in the position to make a good finish.
But it's not even that for me. The goal kick is headed on 6 times by both Hearts and Motherwell players. They're literally playing heady tennis from the halfway line back to our own goal. Salazar picks it up at left back. He plays what can only be described as a dreadful back pass after I thought for the most part he was pretty good on his first start.
And then he kills the game.
Kills the game in favour of the opposition. Tom Sparrow, Jack's laddie, pounces upon the loose ball, stabs home into the top corner. Game, set, match for Motherwell. You look as though you're choking on your drink.
I didn't expect a Jack Sparrow reference as I was having a drink. Yeah, like I've seen people fault roles for this. I think that's harsh. I think he doesn't think he has to be making any runs here.
I would be the first to point the finger at Kai Rolls, but not even I'm pointing the finger at him here.
Yeah.
This is just, again, miscommunication. And again, the boy's making his debut. So there has to be some form of understanding, relationships developing it amongst teammates.
But just put your foot through it at the same time.
Exactly. But this is something that's annoyed me previously. Because we make changes week upon week upon week upon week. How are players meant to understand and develop an understanding and some
continuity.
form of continuity, cohesion, key? Players can't establish relationships if 1 week they're playing with a left back that doesn't play, or a centre half that doesn't, a ball playing midfielder who should be in the final third, a sitter, wingers, or 2 10s.
Yeah.
There's far too many changes. That is the only thing that's been consistent this season for Hearts.
It's inconsistency.
Week upon week, when sometimes there's no need to make changes. And I think this was pretty much evident here again at the weekend.
Actually, fuck the other title. Consistent Inconsistency is a better title because that is what it is.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
infuriating.
We're seeking continuity and cohesion.
Yes, there you go. See, we can provide analysis. We got beat. We're shite,
We haven't
apparently,
had that.
now. Yeah.
I've got this is just this is annoying because group or league stage games are yet to drop in Europe. So if we can't cope with having played one European match to date so far, I really do worry as to what's going to happen when we get into the thick of it and the domestic fixtures.
Yeah.
It's quite good actually that we've got hard games that maybe we're not overwhelming favourites in anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
That's very true. Very true.
It's a weird mindset, but I'd probably rather that than a game that we're expected to win and don't, because then we have the harder fixtures to come.
100%. I would agree with that. And listen, I was joking there saying, like, we're now shite. I don't think we are. I don't think we're a bad team. We saw the squad today. I believe it was the Heart Standard posted, like, the squad picture. And it's like, you look at that squad, it's like, we've got a good squad. We just need to... I disagree with...
We just look lost. We look a wee bit lost.
It's like, just everybody, get your fucking heads screwed on. Don't... Naismith, I love you, but you're not Pep Guardiola. You don't need to keep doing wee changes all the time. Just...
He's the real baldy bastard. You're the kid on baldy bastard.
Yes, exactly. Stop trying to emulate him in every way. You also wear jumpers on the side of the pitch. That's what he's trying to do.
The Lyle Scott has to go, Nazy. I'm sorry. I was wearing that brand a decade ago. Do you know what? Previously, last season, he was looking smart. He was even repping the club, like tiny little Hearts badges, sort of like the club's official gear. Why have we ditched that?
That's what's fucked it.
Lyle Scott?
Lyle Scott's fucked it.
Get the Hearts, like, clobber back on. Get those sales down at the club shop.
We've got like a shacket thing. We've got like a bluish shacket thing, and it's gay.
Please don't, because I thought it was really smart. But the reason I saw it is because my dad had posted it to the socials, and he literally asked, "Does anybody know if the club shop are selling these?" Turns out they are, but my mum had instantly left a comment being like, "Doesn't matter if they are or not. You're not getting one." So it was basically just he was fucked off from there. So. Yeah,
incredible.
I might pick one up, but the old man's not.
Nah.
Maisie, get one on.
Yes, exactly.
And ditch the Lyle and Scott because it's not good enough. Sorry, I didn't think I'd be ranting about the clobber, to be honest. I thought I'd be going in more on our centre half.
That is what it is, though. This is the Perth to Paisley official stance. The reason we're shite now is because of poor branding on our manager.
Now, I don't... Thursday night, I'm in row 34. You're quite high up.
I'm row 35.
But you're a lot closer to the dugouts than I am.
Yeah.
You better inform me.
I'll take a picture. I'll take a picture for you.
Yeah. I'm walking out.
Yeah, I'll take a picture for you.
I know that we're done for.
Don't you worry. I'll keep you informed. I'll keep you informed if he changes during the game, if he adds or subtracts coats, anything that happens. I'll be on Nazy fashion watch.
Get the layers on you!
Exactly.
But there are two huge games in Gorgie this week as we take on Victoria Pilsen in the second leg of our Europa League playoff before this weekend. We host Dundee United at Tynecastle in one of 3 Scottish Premiership matches this Sunday. Never mind the Old Firm. That 3 o'clock kickoff far more important. Before we get into discussing that duo of matches, I believe you spoke to a special guest, Mr. McIver. Could you please enlighten us?
Yes, I did. So, as I imagine you will all know, that this Sunday is Foundation Day, Foundation of Hearts Day. Have them yearly with the club. They're always great fundraising events for the foundation. And I was lucky enough to, earlier in the week, speak to James, the guy who does all the social media or the marketing from the foundation. So we're going to hear from him now. It's about 15 minutes, really, really insightful chat about the foundation and kind of an insight into stuff that maybe we don't necessarily see every day as supporters. So here's me speaking to James. So yes, as you just heard, we are wonderfully joined by a member of the foundation, as it is this Sunday, Foundation Day. The game against Dundee United will be the Foundation of Hearts Day. Really looking forward to it. It's always an amazing event. Every single year, to be honest, it's always been really, really successful. So hopefully you're all down there and we can see you there. But as I say, we're joined by James, who handles the social media and marketing for the foundation. So James, a massive, massive thank you for coming on the show.
Not a problem at all. It's a pleasure to join you.
Well, thank you very much. So, as we say, you are handling the social media, the marketing. How did you get involved with the foundation in the first place?
It's kind of a bit of I suppose, a strange story.
Okay.
Taking a bit of time. So I've worked in sport all my life, everything from grassroots through to performance. Obviously, age-old tale, being a Hearts fan since day one. And then happened to move next door to Gary Halliday, who needs no introduction.
Yeah.
And kind of pestered him for a few years for something to do, to get involved and sort of get my hands dirty with the foundation. And then during lockdown, kind of during the famous COVID times, I got involved in some sports social media and some graphic design through a couple of contacts I've got with other things, and one thing sort of led to another. And yeah, two years down the line, I seem to be deep into it.
Absolutely, that's amazing. That's, of all the ways that people have got involved with stuff, I don't think neighbour with a very key component of the organisation is a common way, I imagine.
Well, the funny thing is, I didn't actually realise who it was. You know, you kind of pass in the street and we all know who Gary is, and it's, I recognise that guy. And I was out walking the dog one night, and it was dark, and kind of said, you know, you get onto football really quickly. And guys, so I was involved in the foundation, and the penny dropped, and it was one of those horror moments, like, I can't believe this.
Well, you're here now, as you say, you've been here for a couple of years. So what has your time in the foundation been like? Have you always been in the kind of social media, as you say, you've been involved with sports before, or have you had a few different hats before?
In terms of the foundation, everything's has been part of the kind of marketing and the social media side of it. So I think, not to say it's perfect now, but I think the social media stuff is something that, and communications generally, the foundation has struggled with.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we have a really strong and really valuable message, but getting it out there is always a challenge. And we've obviously come from a position where it was save the club. You know, it was put your hands in your pockets and save the club. And thankfully, those days are in the past now. And we've been, you know, Anne Budge has been very vocal that we don't need a war chest, and, you know, we're in a good position. And we're now sitting going, you know, what do we do next? What is the sell? How do we keep people involved? And I think there's a lot of good ideas around the marketing team, and it's how we articulate those and visualize them. So I suppose I'd come on board to help visualize those and be somebody that was kind of on the social media more consistently. So regular kind of daily messaging, obviously answering queries through direct messages and passing them on to the relevant people, and trying to grow that strength. And we were quite open with the figures at the AGM last year in terms of where that social media reach has gone. And I think while we're all volunteers, we're not experts in any of this stuff.
Yeah.
And I think where we did get to as a group last year was very positive, was very encouraging. And I think this year it's very much been about taking those results, trying to build on them, but obviously turn them into active pledges going forward as well. And that's that has been my role sort of over that period, is monitoring and trying to grow that reach.
100%. And listen, from the complete outside who just engages with the social media from the perspective of the people that you're trying to approach, it does just seem to be incredibly professional. The communication's always really open, which is a massive part of it. The regular updates from either board meeting minutes to just here's what we're planning to do is really important. And because it's a football club, naturally, the kind of sentiment towards everything is judged by the results on the pitch. So if everything's going great, then I imagine your job is a lot easier. If things aren't going as well, then I can imagine you get a wee bit more of people having some more things to say. I'll put it like that. What are the challenges of dealing with? You guys know that you have a clear plan, a strategy, and if everybody took off their emotional hats, you would go, yeah, that is how it should work. We shouldn't just be playing into the emotions of everybody. But how does that make your job either easier or more difficult when your consumer base is so based off something that you can't really control?
I think I respect your diplomacy around that. That was quite impressive. Yeah, it's massively challenging, and listen, we're Hearts. We wouldn't support Hearts if it was easy.
Yeah.
And you have to take the ups with the downs, and I think, being completely honest with you, it's exactly the position we're in at the moment. We've got Foundation Day coming up on Sunday. Fixtures haven't been, or results haven't been how we want them. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And I think to go out to people, I think we all went from a small minority. We get the message of, here's the Foundation again, cap in hand after our money, and yeah, that's the truth to a point. But we don't want it to feel like that. We want people to invest in the Foundation, to invest in their club, and to help grow the club in any way we can. And the results on the pitch have a massive impact on that. If everything's positive, people want to buy into it and they want to help that, and there isn't a lot of question about it. And we've all seen kind of over the years, we want a manager away, or we want to affect change. So we get this, I'm going to stop my pledge to the Foundation.
Yeah.
And people will talk with their cash and talk with their wallets. But in truth, it almost has the reverse effect, because it takes back the influence that we can have from that. So we are always very, very mindful of what's going on in the pitch and the message that we are trying to send. And I think that's why, with our current sort of marketing campaign, Sign for Hearts, that's why we're being kind of very, very honest, I guess, hopefully, for a phrase, in the other ways that pledging to the Foundation does impact the club as a wide. And you're right, football goes up and down, it goes round and round, but we're 150 years on, the fans saved the club, we're still here, and it's how we make the impact in different ways.
100%. And I'm glad that is the way that you're able to look at it, that it doesn't just seem whenever the results are bad, then as a result, oh, this is going to be a nightmare. You can take a positive from that and go, right, we can, the use of the word control there is great to hear, that it's just like, yeah, we are able to turn it on that. And you mentioned their 150th anniversary. Obviously, the Foundation has been a massive part of the reason that we are able to get to our 150th anniversary. How have, from your experience of working physically within the Foundation, what do you see in your kind of day-to-day or month-to-month, season-to-season work that makes you really appreciate the Foundation, that maybe in ways we as supporters don't get to see very obviously?
I think the biggest thing has to be the passion. I mean, we're all volunteers, and I will absolutely, hand on heart, I don't know if my boss will hear this, but I probably put more hours a week into the Foundation than I do to my full-time job. And that's the truth. It takes time. A lot of it is building relationships with different people in the club. When those people move on, there's somebody else that comes in. This is the story of the Foundation. This is what we want to do. Yeah. All of the promotional stuff that we put on the big screens takes time. We have to liaise with that. We're starting to work quite closely with Nazy and his team.
Okay.
Up at Oriam. So that obviously takes a lot of time, and obviously during training time is our working time, so we're taking days off to go up and meet with Nazy and the team up there and build those relationships. And I think that's been the real real big thing for me. I mean, I got involved in this because I want a football club for my kids to go and watch.
Yeah.
And that's the heartstring bit. My 7-year-old is absolutely football and heart's daft.
Great.
And seeing his face light up every time you go, out into the stands at Tynecastle makes it worthwhile. But it's that passion that runs through everybody in the marketing group that, it's 10 o'clock at night when something doesn't quite happen, and it's how do we fix this or how do we fix that? And it's phenomenal to see that passion coming through every single day. I think the last month or 6 weeks or so has been really challenging.
Mm-hmm.
We've been working on, so recently we've gone out with a number of emails. First of all to fans with lapsed memberships.
Right.
Then to fans that live farther away, that are abroad, and we're looking at how we now reach out to the kind of 16 to 25-year-olds within that as well. We've obviously had our tech upgrade that I think has, being honest, has been challenging as well, both from our side and from the side of the fans. That transition has been difficult and has been going on for 6 months. There's been a lot of work with that. The emails have then tied on to the back of that, which we've had to do testing and find people who did pledge but don't pledge, and those that have never pledged.
Yeah.
This, that, and the next thing, and it just nobody moans about it. We just keep pushing on, and sometimes someone will have a bit of a niggle, and you go, "Aye, but Hearts." Hearts. And that seems to be the leveler. Aye, but Hearts, and we just we rebuild and we go, and it's just it's a great group of people, and we don't always get it right, but our heart's in the right place.
Absolutely. And that, you've kind of just brilliantly answered the question I was going to ask you, but I was going to say, because it is Foundation Day this weekend, obviously this podcast is going out on Wednesday, so plenty of time for people to listen to it. And maybe if they were thinking about going or weren't sure about it, they will now know that it's Foundation Day. Do you have a message specifically to fans who are going to the games on how to engage with the Foundation, both at the game itself, but then probably more importantly, how to remain engaged with the Foundation going forward?
Yeah, I think there's a few things on that. And first of all, it's maybe worth sort of covering what Foundation Day is about, because there's two real reasons within that. And I think, first of all, it's to say a huge thank you to the supporters that have contributed and continue to contribute every month. We've now raised over 17.5 million that has gone into the club and has helped areas grow. And secondly, to reinforce the message that signing up for the Foundation does make a huge difference. And it's not just about on that on-field result. So, we make a difference actively in the academy in terms of developing those young players. And we're starting to see results coming through with the B team. We're starting to see some younger players come into Nazy's team and start their football journey within that. We can all see the enhancements around the stadium. We've got a new stand, we've got a hotel, and it's worth remembering that these things actively put money into our club.
Yes.
And without that Foundation money, these things don't exist. These things don't exist, and they can't continue to grow what we can offer. We've also got the community-led initiatives such as the Innovation Centre and the Maroon Mile. So we've obviously just kind of reopened the memorial at Haymarket as part of the Maroon Mile project, which will be ongoing. And of course, we've got our charity with Big Hearts as well, which we should all be so proud of what they do. So there's so much that maybe we need to be more vocal about these things, but there's so much that the Foundation do that maybe isn't obvious to everyone. I think in terms of engaging, we've got a group of volunteers that will be out on the plaza and round the main entrances to Tynecastle on Sunday. We've got kind of QR codes which will get handed out to everybody coming into the stadium. You can scan those QR codes and it'll take you onto the Foundation website, which will give you kind of more information about what the Foundation do and how to sign up. I believe everyone will get 2 cards. So the hope is you'll keep one yourself and you'll give one to a friend who maybe isn't a member of the foundation, but would consider doing that. So that's kind of our first approach. We've got a couple of guys, or myself and Maddie, another one of our volunteers, will be on the pitch at half time. So we're going to give a little bit of, probably similar to what we've discussed today, on where the foundation are at and where we want to go. We'll also have a little bit of a giveaway at half time for those people that do sign up over the coming weeks. So we'll have that. And then obviously after the game, the easiest way to get in touch with us is through social media. So we're very active on Twitter or X and Instagram. I monitor those probably more than I should. So anything that comes through those, I'll pick those up and point people in the right direction. We do appreciate not everyone's on social media, so you can use info@foundationofhearts.org to come through on email. That's monitored daily as well, so we can direct those in the right direction. You can also get that through the contacts page on the website. But yeah, lots of ways to get engaged with us. We're a lot sharper on communication than we used to be. Hopefully that has become apparent, and we don't want people, going, we can't get in touch or we can't get this sorted. We want to be able to sort things quickly for people, and we'll always endeavour to do that when we can.
Amazing. Well, listen, James, I know you're busy, so I will let you go. Is there anything else that you wanted to mention before we finish? I don't want to cut anything that's really important, so if you've got anything else, use this platform now.
I think that the only thing to kind of sign off is, it is our 150th anniversary.
Yep.
We've probably mentioned that already, but without our supporters, we would have never reached this. Our club wouldn't exist. It's, we were literally seconds away from the plug being pulled. So I think as much as we should celebrate the past, and we always want to remember that, we've got plans in place. We're starting to get those in place to move forward. But we are open to everybody's ideas. It is, it's a fan movement. We need those ideas. And listen, it's not every football fan that can say they own their football club, but genuinely, you can own part of your football club for a tenner a month. That's as simple as it is.
100%. So listen, folks, if you're going to the game this weekend against Dundee United, please engage with the staff who are there. Donate as much as you can. And please, if you haven't already, do sign up, not just for just now, but for future seasons as well. James, a massive thank you for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you for having us on. Likewise, absolutely brilliant. Cheers.
Great to hear from James there ahead of the weekend and Foundation Day, of course, as Hearts host Dundee United. But before that, Daniel McIver, Victoria Pilsen in Gorgie, under the lights, Thursday night. The Czechs boasting a slender advantage as they come over to Scotland. How are you feeling?
So, do you want to hear some fun stats?
Sure.
Victoria Pilsen haven't lost in 10 away games. They've played 11 competitive games, or in their last 11 competitive games, they have lost none. They are currently splitting the 2 Prague teams domestically. Slavia are top of the league, Sparta are third. They are second. They have played 5 domestically, won 4, drawn 1, lost none. Scored 5, conceded none. They're on a pretty fucking good run. For contrast, we haven't won at home in 4 competitive games. We are currently on a winless run of 10, and as you said, haven't won since the 11th of May competitively. So, it's all signs pointing to a 4-0 Hearts win, basically. I have no idea what's going to happen, mainly because I don't know how they are going to play. I don't know if they'll come with the idea of, as long as we keep this tight, we've got this. We don't need to win. They need to win. So as a result, we sit back, soak up pressure, because look, we did that all last week and we were fine, never conceded, kept clean sheet, we'll be all right. Or they go, let's get a couple early, and then the tie's done.
Kill the tie, yeah.
As a result, I think that will determine the formation a lot. Because I think if Naismith thinks we're going to have an opening 20 minutes of bombarding pressure, he'll go 3/5. Whereas if if he takes the attitude of we need to win this tie, he has to go 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3. The team
I
play.
agree with all of that.
The team I'd play is Gordon in goals, Oyegoke at right back, Penrice at left back, Kent and either Kingsley or Rolls. Whoever you want, I think they're whatever.
Well, I've got the fear. Well, oh no, Kent, sorry. Yeah, Kent on the right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's either Kingsley or Rolls.
I had concerns about a left footer on the right-hand side, but Kent's obviously on the right.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Kent's on the right-hand side. Devlin, Boateng is your two. And then two of Vargas, Oda and Forrest. Take your pick out of them, whoever you want. And then Danda in the 10, Shanklin, number 9.
Yeah. I can't disagree with that. I'm surprised you're dropping Gerald Taylor though.
I just think he's on such a bad run that I'm like, I don't think Oyegoke could do any worse.
Okay.
But again, say if it was that exact team but Taylor was in, I would go, I'm still happy with this team.
Yeah. My concern is mentally, Daniel Oyegoke will probably feel as though he was at fault.
That's true. That's a good point. Very good point.
Would you then risk starting him in the return leg?
Very good point.
I don't think so. But again, if we're protecting a lead, him coming off the bench, I always think it's tricky for a defender coming off the bench.
Agreed.
For an offensive player, you can come on and ultimately prove the hero. For a defender, you basically all the pressure's on to see this out regardless of how the game's going.
Agreed.
So I don't know. I think he'll go with Taylor as opposed to Oyegoke, but the rest of that I can't really argue with. Score prediction.
2-1 us. We lose on pens.
Oh God, that's horrendous.
Couldn't cope with that because then, as a result, I wouldn't get back home until about the back of 11. And I'd be up at 7 a.m. for work the next day. And I just couldn't handle that.
I'm thankfully a back shift on the Friday. I'm going to stay at my folks on the Thursday night. I'm getting the Royal Hotel Hearts bus from Pennycook in and back. So that's fine.
You're fine.
Si's taking care of that. But, oh God. Oh no. I just worry that we would play 2 hours ahead of then the weekend.
Yeah, that's another aspect of it.
Facing United, that would not be nice. And ultimately, that's okay if we progress. Europa League, here we come. But if we drop into the conference, that would just be the most anticlimactic thing ever. I think it'll go the distance. I think we'll win 1-0. It'll go to extra time. And then God knows what will happen. Hopefully nick a second. I don't really believe that, do I? Yeah, I do. No, I don't. Yeah, I do. I don't know.
Could be another Rosenborg situation where we go 1-0 down and everybody thinks that's it, the tie's fucked. But then we just turn to Cammy Devlin and go, right, Cammy, do it again, please. Score the worst goals of all time that somehow go
really
in.
Nice. I honestly, I hope they're tackles. I hope they're like Benny Beringham-esque.
Yeah.
And he just tackles a couple in. But then arguably to some, an even bigger game at the weekend.
For me, it's a bigger game, definitely, because we've got guaranteed European football regardless of what happens.
Dundee United come to town. To me, I'm just reading too much into this. Lauren Shankland is yet to score a goal for Hearts this season. Hearts are yet to win. Does this just seem too obvious that all the stars align? Shankland scores, we batter United, and then, lo and behold, we kickstart our campaign, go on a nice little run, and everything's hunky-dory once again.
Yes, I'm going 2-1 us. Shankland double.
Oh, interesting. I will go Shankland and Vargas. We will concede to Ross Graham from a set piece.
Oh yeah, they have got big units. Aye, right. We're both going 2-1.
Yeah, I think that's solid.
Yeah. We'll get beat 4-0 on Thursday, 3-0 at the weekend, and then Naismith's sacked by the time we come back in.
Rest assured, I will be patching this podcast next week if that's the case. Right, but before we go this week, we have the End is Near quiz. Yeah, you've got a true or false in there. You've got 3 multiple choices in there.
That means this is the hardest quiz of all time.
It's really not. And then the Who Am I? All right.
That means it is. Right, let's go.
Question number 1. is your true or false. Lauren Shankland, who's hopefully got his shooting boots on this week, had scored 6 goals in 7 games against Motherwell prior to Sunday's defeat. True or false? Our number 9 hasn't scored more goals against any other Scottish Premiership side than the Steelmen.
Right. He scored 4. Is it 4? No, I think it's false because I think he scored. Oh wait, what was the actual word in the true or false?
Our number 9 hasn't scored more goals against any other Scottish Premiership side than the Steelmen.
I think he's also scored 6 against Celtic. Because he scored a hat-trick against them, scored at Parkhead, he scored against them at Tynecastle, again, in another game. Did he get another one? But that would still mean it's true because he hasn't scored more than 6. I can't think of him getting loads of goals against St Mirren. He scored a few against Hibs, but I still don't think it's 6. He's got a couple against Rangers. Against Ross County, it doesn't feel like he's got that many. Against St Johnstone, he scored reasonably often. I think it's true.
I tell you what, Daniel McIver, it is true.
Right.
Some of your logic was excellent,
and
some other parts of your logic was horrendous.
Right, okay.
Because it is true. He's also scored 6 against Celtic, but he's also scored 6 against Ross County and St Johnstone.
When the fuck has he got St Johnstone? I'm not surprised. I'm a wee bit surprised he scored 6.
Think about when Naismith was interim manager.
Oh, we fucking battered them.
Yes, we did. And he scored a hat-trick that day, if I'm not
Did he score a
mistaken,
hat-trick? Right.
He did.
I forgot about that game. That didn't make sense.
But you did well, because again, I thought I'd catch you out with the word thing, so you did very well there. Well done.
Get in.
One from one. Great start.
Yep. That's the end.
Your second question. Hearts had last won 3 games in a row against Motherwell back in February 2017. But who bagged a brace in the final game of that trio? Was it A, Callum Patterson, B, Bjorn Johnson, C, Ismail Goncalves, or D, Arnold June?
Right, the person I thought it was going to be, Juanma, isn't fucking there. So, Juanma wasn't even at us in 2017. Or was he? Did he leave that?
No,
summer?
I think he was. Was he not a one-season wonder?
I think it was just 15, 16. Yeah. Apparently, Stevie Crawford called him a prick and a chippy or something. I can't mind.
No, he did play 16, 17 as well, did he not?
I genuinely can't. I just remember he was born offside, but I loved him.
So did I.
Now, can I be cheeky?
Oh, God.
Do you know if that last game was at home or not?
Yeah.
I've just realised it doesn't fucking help me. It doesn't help me. Because I was going to say, I then think it's Doom. Because when we battered them like 6-0 or something like that. But Doom scored the end with a pet. Doom did a wee flick and Patterson went like that and put his hands on his head. Patterson was playing that day. McFadden was on the bench, funnily enough. I don't know why I know that fact.
Juanma did leave in 2017, by the way.
He did leave in 2017.
Yeah.
Right.
June 2015, loaned out in 2016-17, and then
to who?
For Murcia, UCAM Murcia, and then he signed with the Japanese team Vivaran Nagasaki in January 2017.
What, is he still playing?
Yes, he's at Vivaran Nagasaki again.
Fair play him. Now, I don't. The reason I've just immediately said
goals in 116 games, not a bad return.
Similar to us, he didn't have a bad return against us either. For us, sorry, not against us. For us. The reason I immediately said I don't think that helps me is because I think the stat about that game is that there were 6 different goal scorers that day. Because I think Juanma scored that day, and Patterson did, and Doom did. But I think like Gavin Riley and Igor Rossi scored.
I think you're right, actually.
Yeah.
I'll give you a hint, McIver. That game is not involved in this trio.
Right, cool. So
I think there was a result that they got in between that And
Right,
these
okay. Get you.
I'm
Get
going
you.
to assume
Right.
because I've got the games in which
All right, okay, cool. So I don't ever remember Bjorn Johnson scoring a double, but he might have done it once. Patterson, I can remember scoring a few doubles, but my logic is I seem to remember Isma doing it.
okay.
Or wait, is it that fucking cup game where Patterson scored a rocket at Fir Park? I think we won 2-0 though, and I think Patterson and June both scored. I'm going to go Isma because that was who my heart was on. When you read the names, I was like, I think it's Isma.
Similar to the first question,
We
you're
might have
correct,
fucking won 3. Oh, really? Oh, get in.
but your logic again
It's
is
wrong.
somewhat flawed
Okay.
because Bjorn Johnson did bag a brace against Motherwell
Oh, wow.
in a 3-0 win at Tynecastle. So
I have no memory of that.
the answer was Isma. We beat Motherwell 3-1 at Fir Park in September 2016. Then in November 2016 was the 3-0 with the Johnson brace. I remember one of his goals really clearly. Takes a past the goalkeeper, coolly slots it into an empty net.
I don't remember.
And then the last one, we won 3-0 at Fir Park. Isma brace and Cholis, I think.
Oh, was that when he fucking scored for the edge of the box?
Yes, I think so.
That was his only highlight. And then the time where someone made a song to the tune of Jolene, but Cholice. And that was it. That was all there was
Yeah,
to
that sounds
Cholice.
about right. So there you go. So
He
2 from
chests
2.
it down and volleys it. I remember that game.
You've done well here. Did Mallory Martin got booked? And
For
the
two Motherwell players fouling each
touching
other.
one another. Yeah.
God, what a time to
Amazing.
be alive.
Amazing the things that you randomly pick up in games over the years. But yes, your logic, again, somewhat flawed with the Johnson brace.
Who
But
gives a fuck?
You did well. 2
for
from 2.
two.
Good start. I think you're going to go the whole distance here.
No, you fucked it now.
No, I do. Hearts went winless. Question 3 in their opening 3 Scottish Premiership games for the first time since the 2019-20 season. But which one of these players didn't score in our opening 3 matches of the curtailed campaign? Was it A, Jamie Walker, B, Michael Smith, C, Connor Washington, or D, the gaffer, Stephen Naismith?
Right. You've immediately fucked me here by putting a notorious favourite and least favourite of mine in this question. So I'll be honest, I'm completely ignoring Washington and Naismith and going, it's one of them.
A straight shootout between Walker and Smith.
Have you been a prick and been like, your favourite didn't actually score in that? Or have you been like, remember how you were really unhappy with him? Well, he was the only fucker who didn't score. I think, no, I was about to say this, I was about to say that's the fucking, when Michael Smith scored that raker against Motherwell. No, it wasn't. That was way before that because he just did it against Neuer like the month before. And then he fucking did that. So that was not it. I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to say Jamie Walker because I want that to be the fucking stat. It's not Jamie Walker. It's Michael Smith.
It was a straight shootout between Jamie Walker and Michael Smith. You chose Jamie Walker, but it was Michael Smith.
Well, I didn't give a fuck because Michael Smith, I love Michael Smith more than Jamie Walker.
The GOAT. What a
exactly.
Man.
Scored it the other week in real life as well.
I know for Yeovil, but it's not right seeing him in a green strip. It's wrong.
I hate it.
It's just wrong. It's wrong.
Yeah.
Question number 4. Dundee United haven't beaten Hearts in a Scottish Premiership match since a 2-1 victory at Tannadice in February 2016, where both teams went down to 10 men. Who was the Hearts player that was sent off in the first half at 0-0? Was it A,
how do I know this?
Ali Mozturk, B, Blase Augustin, C, Jordan McGee, or D, Juwon Oshiriwa?
Fuck. I thought it was going to be Igor Rossi. So it's none of the above. Ozturk, I remember getting sent off. Augustin, I feel like I also remember getting sent off. No, I'm thinking of the fucking disastrous Easter Road Cup replay. I think Augustin got sent off in that game. Yeah, definitely played in it. Surely Oshinawa didn't have... Oshinawa, it felt like he didn't do anything. So I feel like...
Nor should he even play for us.
Yeah, I know, it didn't fucking feel it. The one that we saw against Messi definitely fucking didn't. Jordan McGee, you prick. Did you also get sent off in a game? My logic is he was a BAM, so I'm going with Ozturk because I can just see him punching somebody.
Mackay, but it wasn't Ali Mostert.
Fuck. Was it Jordan McGee?
Blasey Augustin did get sent off at Easter Road in that cup game, if
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
But it wasn't him. It wasn't Joan Oshiniwa either. It was the
It
prick
was
Jordan McGee.
Fuck's sake, what
Ironic
a useless
that he now
prick he
plays
is.
his club football in Dundee. But
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, of
he was
course.
sent
I should
off.
have used that logic.
In the game, Blair Spittle played for United. Scott Fraser assisted in a goal for United.
Wow.
So that shows you how long ago it was.
Christ.
2016.
Well, we'll definitely get beat at the weekend now.
Thanks for that. Sorry, everybody. That's entirely my fault. To round off the quiz, an entertaining quiz, I have to say.
I know.
I think you did well there.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Is your Who Am I? You ready?
Go for it.
Despite being born in a different continent, my youth career took me to Spain, where I looked to break through at 2 clubs in the same city before eventually ending up in England. I joined the Jambos on loan from a then Premier League outfit, and I was the last Hearts player to record 3 assists in the same Scottish Premiership game, but I didn't stay in Edinburgh for long. I returned to Spain as I'm a former Spanish under-17 international, but according to Wikipedia, I've been without a club for 4 years and I'm still just 28. Who am I?
I have absolutely no idea. When you first said that thing about being born in a different continent, I was like, is it going to be Chowley? Because he was at Barca, but he was Moroccan and stuff like that. But Chowley definitely didn't get fucking 3 assists for us or came on loan for a Premiership team. He came on loan from Barca, I think. God, the 3 assist thing has confused me so much.
This is an absolute cracker.
I need to narrow this down to the time period. Between what seasons did he play at Hearts?
This man played at Hearts in the 2016-17 season, having signed in January.
Fuck me. So he was here for 5 months. Who the fuck did we sign in that January? That wasn't the January that we signed Suter and that in, because we signed Suter we signed Suter January 16, because I was in my uni halls for that. I remember that. Who the fuck did we? That's the summer before we signed like Berra, and Berra came back and stuff like that, and like Lafferty. Or did was Lafferty the next year? No, wait. 2016. No, Lafferty wasn't that summer. Berra was. It was the next summer we signed Lafferty. Fuck me. What was the first clue?
First clue, despite being born in a different continent, my youth career took me to Spain, where I looked to break through at 2 clubs in the same city before eventually ending up in England.
Surely it's not just as obvious as Real and Atletico Madrid. What other Spanish cities have multiple teams? Is it Barca and Espanyol?
Is that one of your questions?
No, it's me speaking to myself. I'm discounting that because I've no fucking idea that. Do I remember what team we would have signed them from? So if I asked you that, would I be able to get it? Because I feel like even if you say the position, I have nothing.
Okay.
But I feel like also I don't pay attention to where we sign players from. So I'm putting it out there now, I'm not getting this one. But what can I add? What's his initials? Fuck me, right. What? That's a stupid question.
Come on, hit me with it.
I was going to ask what game did he get the 3 assists for? But that's stupid because there's no way I'd remember somebody getting 3 assists. What Premier League club did we loan him from?
McIver, we loaned him from then Premier League club Stoke City.
Is it Charlie? Charlie might have been at Stoke. There's no way Charlie got 3 assists in a game. Who have we loaned for Stoke? Glenn Whelan used to play at Stoke, but it was not in January
Was that Glenn
2017.
Whelan recommendation?
Yeah, exactly.
Did this player sell hearts to Glenn Whelan?
Yeah, if he fucking did, he should be shot. I'll be perfectly honest. Didn't ken we've ever signed somebody for Stoke. You're going to say, oh, aye, Ricardo Fuller. We sold him to Stoke, did we know?
I don't know.
I thought we sold him to Stoke. You're going to say this name, and I'll fucking know it, right?
What, are you giving up?
No, I'm not giving up. I've got a name that I'm going to guess. I'm just giving you some preamble to save face.
Okay.
But I'm telling you fucking now, I will have never known they came from Stoke. When you say who this person is, I'll be like, there is no fucking way they were at Stoke.
Right, okay.
So I'm just going. I think we've done him before, but my guess is Chowley. That's who I'm going with. Is that even how you say his name?
I thought it was Chule McIver.
Is it Chule? I do ken.
Remarkably, it is Chule.
No way!
How on earth did you get that? The whole time I was trying not to piss my pants laughing.
3 assists for us in a single game. He's the greatest player he's the best playmaker we've ever had.
Do you know what game it was?
No.
So we mentioned the Isma brace at Fir Park.
Was it that fucking Motherwell game?
That game.
So was he at Barca in Espanyol? I seem to remember he was at Barca.
So his youth career, he was at Espanyol from 2010 to 2012.
Right.
From Barca to 2012 to 2015, and then somehow ended up at Stoke.
So he fucking was at Stoke. Why did I remember Chowley was at Stoke?
Stoke, he went on loan to Shrewsbury, on loan to us, on loan to Espanyol B. Then he played for Badalona, just up the road, and La Hospitalet, both Catalan clubs.
That is one of the most impressed I've ever been at myself for getting. The fact I so early got Chowley, but then doubted myself.
I have no idea how you've done that. I was looking through. I don't think we've done him today.
I don't think we have. I think I've wanted to.
But yeah, it was one of those where I just wanted to get out of the way. But yeah, there you go.
I am fucking buzzing with that. I'm so chuffed.
That was impressive because I'm not gonna lie. I tried to make that as tough as possible.
Yeah.
With the again the continent thing. You were right. He was Moroccan, born in Morocco. Now
sorry, am I just his biographer or something? Why do I know so much about Chowley?
You've been on this page. Just editing Wikipedia.
I somehow found your notes.
Legit. Yeah.
Exactly. His birth name actually means Daniel, and just for that, like fucking hell.
Mohammed El Uriachi Chule. And the fact that you kept on saying Chowley or Chule, I was like, there's no way I could reveal him as Mohammed El Uriachi, or you'd have just been like, who? That was what I was planning to do, but then when you kept on saying it, I was like, oh my god, he's actually got this.
Fucking hell. Look at me.
Go. What a time to be alive. Well
who cares that hearts are shite? Just listen to this podcast and it'll all be fine.
February 2017. Take me back.
Mad. Absolutely mad. Well, let us know if you got Chowley or if you didn't and you're just not quite at my level. It's understandable. Not many people are. But we hope you've enjoyed this episode. Obviously, I know it's a bit of a longer one, but we had 2 games to speak about, 2 games to preview. James was on for 20 minutes, stuff like that. We hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, please let us know on your podcast platform of choice. Leave us a review. Massively helps us out. If you've been watching us on YouTube, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Perth to Paisley on all the socials. perthtopaisley@gmail.com if you want to fire us over an email. Adam, where can they get you on all the socials?
You can find me sharing highlights of Heart Midlothian's impressive 3-0 win at Fir Park back in February 2017. All 3 goals coming courtesy of Chule. At Adam T. Kendall, what about yourself, mate?
So I'm at DMcIver22. We'll be back next week to discuss the ending, potentially, of our Europa League run, or the success of it as we are into it, the fallout from Dundee United game, the fixtures for whatever European competition we're in, and the closing of the transfer window that happens in between our next episode as well. So,
a busy one.
It's going to be another 2 hours. Strap yourselves in. But until then, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Come on!